Hey guys, Brett here. In this video, I want to share my thoughts on what has happened with Charlie Kirk's murder and assassination. Now, I have 5 things that I think we should all be doing in the wake of what we have learned and the emotions that you have felt and that I have felt and the things we have seen. I've watched a lot of commentary, I've watched a lot of people, they've talked about a lot of stuff. The manhunt, the investigation, the politics, like all of the things. But what I haven't heard, the grief for the family, my goodness. But what I haven't heard anybody talk about is what do we do now? What do you do now? What do I do now? What is the next step after this horrific tragedy? And I got 5 steps, but I do want to say before we get into those, I do not believe, and I think this is becoming evident. I think a lot of people are expressing this. I think you're seeing it all over the world. I do not believe we live in the same world that we lived in last week. Today, we live in a world, especially if you're in the United States, where you can get murdered for having your Christian faith. Today, you live in a world where if you get murdered for your Christian faith, there are people that are going to celebrate it as a good thing. There are people who are going to call evil good, and they're going to celebrate your death. That I don't know why I'm shocked, but that is shocking to me that that's the world we live in. The world we live in now is different than the world we live in the past. It's not the same world. What do you do? Okay. And I want to be clear on one thing too. Kirk died as a martyr of the Christian faith. Charlie Kirk's political opinions that people did not like came from his Christian faith. That was very evident in the way he spoke. Charlie Kirk's opinions on truth came from his Christian faith. Charlie Kirk's opinions on debate and free speech came from his Christian faith. Charlie Kirk was not murdered for his views. Charlie Kirk was murdered for being a Christian. And that's what the Bible essentially promises us. So I don't know why I'm shocked, but it's different than it was the other day. And I think maybe you're feeling the same thing. Okay, so let's get into this and let's talk about the 5 things that we can do. One, I'm going to keep brief because I'm not sure this is exactly my audience now. If this is you, drop it in the comments. I'd love to chat more. Maybe I'll make a video on it. But number one, if you're not a believer and you watched Charlie Kirk and you admired his life and you looked up to him, as I've already said, it came from his Christian faith. If you don't know God and you want to get right with God, accept the Lord, accept Jesus. Charlie Kirk died because he believed in a God that loved him so much that he came down to earth, lived a perfect life to make up for all of Charlie's mistakes. And Jesus then died for Charlie. And Charlie put his faith in that 100%, so much that he lost his life for it. So if you want to take the step and accept Christ, well, we're all examining our lives. Today is as good a day as any to start a new life like Charlie Kirk. Okay. But I'm not going to spend time on that. There's a million places you can go online to learn how to accept the Lord. You can drop comments, be happy to make a video about it. But I'm going to number 2. I think number 2 is, and this is probably you need to figure out what you want. Charlie Kirk knew what he wanted. He lived it out every day. And when Charlie Kirk stepped out of this life and into the next life, he got a hero's welcome. And the King of the universe and Jesus Christ said, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." And I don't know about you, but that's what I want to hear too. When I enter the kingdom, I also want to hear, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." But it doesn't come without sacrifice. And obviously, and hopefully that doesn't mean your life or my life, but I want to leave it all on the table like Charlie Kirk left it all on the table. And if that's what you want, and you want to live a life worth dying for, I guess, you got to get to it. And you got to say, "This is what I want." And that's what I want. And I'm giving you my list. And I'm saying, is this really, yeah, it's really what I want. and I'm doubling down on it. Like I feel for me, I feel like I've been doing that, and I'm gonna keep doing it, but I'm gonna do it better. Okay, so number three, if this is you, let's say you're a believer, you're saying, okay, I'm getting serious. This is what we're doing. That's what I want. I want well done from the Lord of the universe. Okay. The next is to call a spade a spade. Now, there's something that all the emotions hit me, but there's something I just couldn't put my finger on. What is it? I felt the sadness. I felt the grief. I feel the anger. Now it's time to do something. Um, but there's something else that it's just like what is this thing that's bugging me so much that is just tormenting my soul? It's evil. And we need to call a spade a spade. This is three. If you saw what I saw, you saw evil. And I don't say this to be religious or dogmatic or anything like that. And, finger point. What I'm saying is that in order to function in reality, you have to have a map in your mind. This is Jordan Peterson. You have to have a map in your mind that accurately represents reality so you have a place to file things that you experience. Jordan Peterson will talk about when someone comes back from war and they have seen brutal killings, they have PTSD, and the ones who have PTSD have that because the map in their mind of reality does not have a place for that. They grew up a normal life, a peaceful life, and then they went and they saw these terrible things that they didn't even know existed, and it breaks them. It breaks their mind. And in order to help them to heal from that, you have to make a map that can assess reality for what reality is. And what I have been doing is accepting the fact that what I saw was evil. Evil is not okay, but it is a reality. And it is okay for me to have a struggle with that so long as I can put it and say, this is a thing that's real. Why? And this is something you need to do too. If you can't, okay, so this is why. If you can't call it what it is, if I see a duck and I call it a horse, if I'm a man and I look in the woman and or excuse me, look in the mirror and call myself a woman, that is by definition detached from reality. And that is when mental illness comes in. I am a delusional. I believe in a thing that does not exist. So you have to call it what it is in order to do anything with it, in order to be able to function in reality. So we can't pretend it's not evil. Of course it's evil. You saw it and I saw it. And if you watch the actual video, of him getting shot, like if you can't look at that and call it evil, then there's something wrong. And there's a whole bunch of people where they can't do that. They actually think it's good. It's wild to me. Okay, then what do you do? Once you can just call it what it is, it's evil. What do you do with it? Do you bury your head in the sand and pretend it doesn't exist? If this doesn't motivate you and make you feel like you should do something, I don't know what will. What's the next thing that's got to happen? Okay. If you bury your head in the sand with this, I mean, this is burying your talent. And that's scripture. If you don't know that scripture, go look up the parable of the talent. See what happens to the man that buries talent. Charlie Kirk did not bury his talent. He invested that and he created he reaped a reward. And it's all over the world and it's in the kingdom too. So if we bury our head in the ground, we're burying our talent in the ground. Well, what happens if it's scary? Because it is scary. Evil is scary and we run away. Well, we're cowards. That's not a viable option for me. What's the only thing left to confront it? To say, the thing that I saw is evil. This is now a world that I live in, and I'm going to do something. I'm going to do whatever it is that God has called me to do. And we'll talk more about that in the next couple steps. That is the right response. And that's the only viable response. You cannot see something like that and then do nothing. It doesn't work. And that's why you see people doing things all over the world, vigils and marches and chants and like just everything. People are doing things because you can't see evil and then do nothing. Okay. And that takes us to number 4, and that's take action. Now, I'll give you my direct opinion. I think that we live in a country here in the United States and probably abroad too, but I haven't been to all the countries, so I can't speak for them. In the United States, we have milquetoast Christianity. We go and we sit in church on Sunday and we don't do anything throughout the rest of the week, if we even go to church, and we don't live it. Now is when you say, God, what are the things, the gifts, the talents that you have given to me to steward? You've given me the kids. You've given me my wife. You've given me these businesses. You've given me my business partners. You've given me my clients. How do I take all of those things and glorify you in the way that Charlie also did it? If you haven't been doing it up to this point and you want well done, my good and faithful servant, and you're watching this video, now you're responsible for it. And I am also responsible for it because here I am talking about it. Now we're responsible to do the same thing. What are the gifts God has given you? Can you speak? Can you write? Do you make films? Do you do plumbing? Like what's your thing? And you go and you do it for the glory of God. And when you get the opportunity, you share the love of God with people like Charlie did. That's number four. It's time to take action. You need to start living, and I need to start living and continue living to the best of my ability to the glory of God. And I want to clarify there, that doesn't mean you have to be perfect. Charlie was not perfect. Charlie just consistently did what God led him to do, and he did not quit. Okay, so four is figure out what God's got you doing. Figure out the hard thing you know you're supposed to do and go and face it down because Charlie sure did. And number five, and this is more of an encouragement for you. Now, I have been pursuing the things that God has called me to for 15 years. And what I can tell you is as soon as you get in the ring and you say, today's the day, I'm going to start living true to my faith, like Charlie. I want to hear, well done, my good and faithful servant. You're going to get in the ring and you are going to get punched directly in the face. And it is going to hurt. And all I have to say is welcome to the party, right? As soon as you get in and you start trying to do something hard, you're going to get knocked down. And everybody has a plan. This is Muhammad Ali, I believe. Everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face. I don't care if you get hyped up, you get knocked down and you quit. I care that you get hyped up, you get in the ring knowing you're going to get knocked down, and you keep going anyway. And that's what Charlie did. Charlie did not have the ministry that he had in Turning Point. He did not have that because he just sort of got in and it worked out. No, anybody that has that level of influence and success got it by failure and sacrifice and pain and falling down and getting back up every single time. And we didn't see it, but he paid that price so that you could get those videos that changed your life. He read the hurtful comments and he dealt with it. And he went to the campuses and spoke with the kids in spite of the insults. And he sacrificed years of his life building a thing so that you and I could benefit. And he took all the hits. This is also what Jesus did. Jesus took all the hits so that we could have the reward from his sacrifice. And Charlie did the same thing. And so, number five is get comfortable failing and doing hard things because when you do hard things, you're going to fail. And Charlie failed and he made it to the top because every time you fail, you learn something. And so what I would say is as soon as you start taking action, you figure out what God's got you doing, the last thing you're going to do is you're going to start failing. And that's the best thing you can possibly do because you can't get to the top and you can't be your ultimate potential of whoever God has called you to be unless you fail. And so you need to fail a whole bunch as fast as you possibly can. It's going to be brutal. Learn the lessons as fast as you can so that you can make the difference that God has for you to make. Those are the things that I've been asking myself. And like I'm doubling down. Um, but thank you for watching. If this is helpful, firstly, if you have thoughts, I'd love to hear them in the comments. What step are you on? Which one resonates with you? Where do you think you're at? What's your next step? What's God calling you to do? Is God calling you to accept the Lord? Is God calling you to take an action? Are you saying like, oh, this is me. I want well done, my good and faithful servant. What's my next step? Let's figure that. Put it in the comments. I'd love to hear it. Um, and then if this is helpful, I haven't posted in a while. I've been discouraged myself with YouTube. Now I've been, trucking away at lots of other things. But you know, 600 or 700 videos in, can be discouraging to not see the growth that you hope for. And if there's something you want to see on my channel, you're here, you're one of our subscribers. Trying to hit 1,000. We're somewhere around 600 or 700. But if there's something you'd like to see, talk about, you can see the playlist, you can see all the things that I love talking about. Let me know. I'll make videos about whatever you want. I don't care. I just want to bless you and benefit you. I don't make any money off this channel. Um, if this video is helpful for you, please share, like, subscribe, all the stuff. And thanks so much. See you in the next video.